And a warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for joining us here today for another live episode of Conversations with Michael. And we are streaming live from our home studio in the beautiful Willamette Valley in the state of Oregon. We have today just some gorgeous sunshine, really pulling Cook and I to go out there and play in this after we're done with today's show. We welcome all of you who are watching from any of our Facebook pages, our YouTube channel or Vimeo page, and of course on our website. We hope all of you are doing well no matter where you live on this beautiful planet of ours called Earth. Of course, we come together each and every month to listen to Michael share his own unique perspective of all the changes that are impacting our life as a human being. And of course, for those of you that have been following our teachings, the biggest impact lies within this human soul experience. So let's take a deep collective breath there. Let's feel the support that is freely being shared here today, not only from our non-physical friends, but between all of us. As we do every time we do these live streaming events, it's an opportunity for us to feel how things have dramatically shifted in terms of feeling the support that once only came from the human experience, from our angelic friends, from our non-physical counterparts. But now we can feel something really unique, something truly beautiful, just between each other. And as we do that every time, we create a sacred circle, a type of support that you can come back to anytime. It's always here. Feeling each other as friends, feeling the support now as fully conscious human beings. And we know that for perhaps a lot of you watching here today, it hasn't been easy. Perhaps it still isn't. Reclaiming this beautiful soul part of who you are, the soul nature inside of being human. In fact, your human nature is more than likely having a really hard time trusting that all is indeed well outside of its only known support base, a dualistic reality. So one of the hardest things for any human being to do is just to acknowledge duality as an energy. One that we've discovered over eons of time isn't very good at sharing. It has its own unique energy, in a way its own identity, and it has become very protective of its own perceptions. So when we invite our soul to coexist with our human identity, it puts a lot of strain on a mind that is already working overtime, trying to serve an energy that doesn't work very well with opposites. We don't need to ascend from this planet to see how this is unfolding in our own life. It's already happening every single day inside of all of our mundane activities. When was the last time, my friends, you consciously experienced the presence of your soul while loading the dishwasher, as an example, or perhaps while driving yourself to work? Do you remember, or did you remember, to consciously share any of these experiences with your soul? Because that's the challenge, to allow both our human and soul to coexist. And we get it. It's not easy because the energetic presence of duality has pulled all of these activities under its domain, which encourages, well, a more mental approach to life. And that's not to say that duality is bad, but from Michael's perspective, it's the cause of why we often feel stuck. You can feel those underlying emotions start to surface when you invite your soul to consciously participate in any of these mundane activities throughout your day-to-day reality. We're not talking about time travel or bilocating. We're just talking about experiencing your soul in your most mundane of activities. Pay attention to how your mind reacts to this dualistic reality. For the most part, it distracts your heartfelt desire to experience your soul with thoughts that are unrelated to that. For most people, it's only in hindsight that they realize they've lived their entire day without feeling the presence of their soul. And if you're using your mind to reflect on that awareness, you might find yourself starting to beat yourself up for being unaware. This is just another way a dualistic reality has distracted you from feeling what? Well, we proclaim it's your innocence. That's right. Your innocence. That part of you that is fearless. I know it doesn't sit well with the warrior mode, and that's why we had to transcend the battles. And when we proclaim that there are now more fully conscious human beings on the planet than ever before, well, that's not always good news for those who have been trying to experience the joy of living a soul-filled life, but with very little success. And without acknowledging the parts of ourself that feel stuck, well, the cycle just continues day after day. An emotional reaction to any given situation, followed by processing how you're feeling over and over again. The fact that so many are still willing to explore this profound shift in your life, well, that speaks volumes for your courage. And based on the number of human beings that have actually ascended from this mental-based, dualistic construct of a reality, it's amazing to me that so many are still willing to go through what needs to be transcended in order to make this human soul experience real. Let's take a breath there together. Because I know firsthand that it can literally bring your mind to the very edge of its own sanity. Because it's been a long time since we allowed ourselves to experience the very core of our own soul. The warm glow that we spoke about so much in our last book. From our innocence, the fearless part of ourselves. So before we go any further here today, let's just do that right now. When was the last time you experienced the ecstatic presence of your soul while, let's say, vacuuming the carpet in your house? That's a great example. Or was it just another job that needed to be done? Another chore you couldn't wait to get finished, accomplished? So you went through the motions. But when we just go through the motions, we've entered shutdown mode. We go unconscious. But in reality, you missed a prime opportunity to experience firsthand tangible evidence that your soul is indeed real. Think back to the last time you did vacuum your carpet. And if it wasn't an orgasmic experience, then let's just acknowledge that without judging yourself. What were you feeling? Acknowledge it. And instead of beating yourself up for missing this extraordinary experience with your vacuum cleaner, just accept it. I know it's really boring to just accept the experience for what it is, but boring to what part of you? So I invite the light of your soul to be a part of you that is watching today's show with you. Now you're serving something greater than what your human mind and your human heart understand. You're allowing the light of your soul to attract to you more of the joy that is a natural feeling when your soul is present. Living your life consciously. From our perspective, that's the key. Of course, you can do that without your soul, but with your soul, it goes from all the emotional ups and downs and all the mental activity to what? Well, to living an orgasmic life. That would be new. That would be radically different from what you inherited here on earth. Very good. As we speak, there are far more of you that have yet to consciously experience the presence of your soul than there are that have. But those that have, for the most part, they're still here. And the question is, why would they stick around when they could ascend from this planet anytime? Well, because, my friends, you're still here. And this is what friends do. We continue to support one another, no matter where you find yourself in this human experience. I understand how frustrating it can be to devote your life to all these changes we've been talking about for almost 30 years, promising to make your life more fulfilling. If you're one of those that are beginning to feel that maybe, just maybe, you missed the boat, take a deep breath. A really deep breath. Because not only are there more fully conscious human beings on the planet, but you can also feel their radiant support like never before. Take a moment here to breathe the support that is being freely shared as we speak by some who are participating in our live show here today, and by all those that are just kind of hanging out, enjoying life, shining their light in support of all of you. So, on that note, let's take a quick peek at some of our upcoming events, as we do every month, They've all been designed to help you become more conscious of the presence of your soul. And we know how easy it is to get distracted while while coexisting alongside our beautiful human family. So if any of these speak to your heart, feel free to visit our website for more information. Let's take a peek. Very good. And sign up for the 6-month I Spirit 1 course. Actually ends next Thursday, April 8th at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. In the past, this course would have been declared sold out several weeks ago, but we decided for the first time to expand the number of people that are wanting to participate in it. So if that's one of you, we highly recommend you take a peek, see if it speaks to your heart. We offer for that program a no-interest monthly payment plan, and you can schedule any number of private sessions with Michael during the entire course. So just take a moment to feel into any of our programs and services to see if they might be a good fit for you. We also enjoy featuring some of the creations from those of you that have participated in any of our programs and services. Today, let's take a look at an exciting new book by Betsy Grobecker. Very good. We've received some pretty good reviews from others that are enjoying this book. So if you'd like to preview the first chapter for free online, just go to Amazon.com and type in the title of the book or just type in Betsy's name. And of course, if you are or have participated in any of our programs or services, feel free to email us one of your latest creations and we'll consider it to be featured on this show. On that note, let's take another deep breath as I once again allow the blending that is a natural part of this human soul experience between me and Michael, my eternal self, to share with all of you and with me his own unique perspective of what's really happening on our planet. Indeed. Indeed it is I, Michael, and thank you, Robert. Nice blending. I too am very excited about so many new creations beginning to emerge. Not all of them by those of you that are at the front line of this incredible shift in consciousness. What exactly is shifting, you might ask? Well, imagine living in the same house for eons of time. Over time, things start to feel a little stuffy, especially if most of the windows have been closed for that period of time. Imagine that. Yes, you have. So we are consciously creating a brand new reality. In a way, it's like resetting the whole experience of leaving the kingdom. But this time, you're going to do it consciously. Knowing this time that the original self is still inside of you, which dramatically changes how you now feel about living outside your original home. None of this would be happening, my friends, if not for all the changes each of you have allowed into your own human experience. There had to be a foundation in place to support such a collective awakening. And we understand that for many of you, you're still wondering if any of this is really real. While at the same time, most of you have the same question as it relates to mass consciousness. Is that real? Which leaves you feeling somewhat confused and at times perhaps a little angry at the choices in front of you. So today, let's take a closer look at some of the distractions that keep you from trusting your own soul. It's actually a delicate subject, in part because there are far more human beings living on this planet without the presence of their soul. So energetically, the support weighs pretty heavy on the side of not allowing the soul to be present. So let's begin by acknowledging that a heart-centered being, human or otherwise, is a priceless gift to all of life. Those that we have the honor of serving, you know what we are talking about here. Such a gift to trust the heart, to allow the heart to act as your guidance system. Imagine losing the capacity to feel with all of your senses, not just the physical ones. So in this new story, you are opening yourself to becoming an ultra-sensitive human being. And that's a pretty bold choice because it brings up all those issues that also relate to your safety. Issues connected to feeling worthy of such a gift. To the human part, how does that make you feel, my friends? Well, when we look at you, a lot of you feel pretty vulnerable. But when I look at your soul, I see something else going on here. It's exhilarating, life-affirming. So one of the most distracting elements to reclaiming your sovereignty is the human experience itself, starting with the human body. Most of those that are watching today's show, well, you've developed a rather deep respect for these physical vessels, physical bodies. But it still feels a little unnatural to your etheric body. We've encouraged all of you to flip the reality, to turn the awkward slowness of being human into a sensual type of foreplay. Because let's be honest, without the soul, this ends up being a pretty boring place. You have quite a few lifetimes as evidence of that. But with your soul, it offers an experience of a lifetime. Alongside that, your mind is doing the best it can to serve both this polarized system and your new story. Most of you have become masters at recognizing when your human emotions have been triggered. They act as huge distractions to your own clarity. You realize that your reactions to any given situation was really only feeding what you didn't like. So you embrace the value of the breath. You embrace its impact on living your life consciously. Many of you are now what we call the walking, talking new mystics. The new mystic represents a fully conscious human being. All those habitual patterns of behavior that for the most part you inherited from your human family, they no longer rule your life. Oh, they're still there. You still feel them, but they don't rule. They don't dominate your life. The new mystic is a bold choice. Because now they either serve you or they no longer exist. But none of this would be possible without the presence of your soul. Almost 8 billion unconscious human beings are living proof that it is essential that the human being allow its etheric counterpart to be a part of this experience. Without that presence, the human experience just keeps repeating the same story over and over and over again. Let's take a deep breath there. And acknowledge that at the core of your soul exists the presence called spirit. And from our perspective, it does represent consciousness, pure consciousness, but now in motion, in action. Duality has its own energy, But spirit can also get entangled living inside such a reality. Duality in its original state represented a beautiful reflection for any being, until that reflection became polarized, as your light started to separate itself from its own shadow. So you brought your cosmic story with you to this planet. It became a part of this human experience, for you to see in slow motion if it was possible for opposites to coexist. You see that playing out in your political arena. In the United States, how do the Democrats and Republicans feel about each other? Within your organized religions, the competition between faith-based beliefs feeds the need for more power. Color, race, gender, all have a long history of being separated from each other. All of these unresolved global issues are connected to your cosmic story. There was no end in sight if something didn't change. But it did it not? Another deep breath, my friends. Springtime is one of our favorite seasons here on Earth. During this time, nature is giving birth on a quantum orgasmic level. Nature doesn't question the birthing process or worry about potential outcomes. It simply trusts in the creative process that does support life. We invite all of you to also feel into what has been birthed inside of you. And from our perspective, it is beautiful to see it unfolding inside this human experience. Is simply extraordinary. And we have all of you to thank for that. It will be called many things. We call it the birthing of Christ consciousness. Many of you here today helped to plant the seeds during the times of Yeshua. If for whatever reason you are one who feels, despite all the time and energy put into having a tangible experience with your soul, that perhaps, just perhaps, it has passed you by, we want to remind you again, there is no timeline here. There is no deadline. So one of the biggest distractions is your own doubt. We can see and feel it in your energy field. Let's acknowledge that feeling right here and now. And once again, acknowledging doesn't mean you resign yourself to your fate. Acknowledging means you're now willing to take responsibility for changing what feels stuck. So how do we do that? Well, to your human identity, our solution doesn't make a lot of sense. But we have seen it work now countless times. You acknowledge, and then you simply accept that it is there without pushing back without getting pulled into all the emotions of what you're feeling, while staying conscious of what you're also breathing. What are you breathing, my friends? Are you aware of that? What are you breathing? What are you allowing through your breath into your life? Let's breathe in, just for the fun of it, a deep and sincere love for you. A few deep breaths with that. A deep and sincere love for you. You deserve it. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to accomplish anything to earn it. Take a deep breath and breathe in trust. Practice this, breathing in trust. During this time, observing how nature trusts in the same support that you are breathing in right now. Supporting you, too. You see, something shifted for all of you. It shifted because you stopped breathing in your parents for support. You stopped breathing in your friends and neighbors for support. You stopped breathing in your biological family. You stopped breathing in a variety of institutions, hoping they would support you. All that breathing from outside of you really started to mess you up. So you made a really bold choice, an incredible choice. You started to breathe consciously. You. Just your own presence. You started to consciously breathe your soul. You started to allow conscious breathing to be at the front of your life until it became the new norm for you to always breathe just you. And for many of you here today, you are now experiencing a type of freedom you have only read about. Now it is here. Now you are here. Now it's time for the news story. The leaving the kingdom reset story. Oh, we planted the seed a few years ago with the reality reset class. Now you have all the support your heart has yearned to feel, not outside of you, but you can now feel it if you allow it inside of you. Breathe in you, my friends. Trust in you. So I declare today to be a happy birthday to all of you. We used to spend time at the beginning working with Robert, encouraging anyone to throw away your old calendars, go out and buy a brand new one, and put your own dates, your own times to celebrate, your own celebrations. Fill that calendar with what you would want to experience in your day. We saw some incredible changes in people who are willing to ignore the conditioned calendar of events to what you wanted to experience yourself, how you wanted to celebrate your life. Try it and see what happens. Let's do a quick refresh before we call today good to go. This human experience offers a very unique opportunity to consciously acknowledge a collective perception that placed the presence of the original self outside of you. It needed to be acknowledged for it to change. Believing that somehow you weren't qualified outside the kingdom to be creators of your own experience. That belief became so ingrained, so polarized, that before Earth was even created, all heart-centered beings almost lost all hope. All of you brought that cosmic story with you, not to punish yourself, but to find resolution. A few started to believe that just perhaps our original perception was false. Wow. So you put it to the test, did you not? By allowing the presence of the original self in the form of your soul to now be a part of your human identity. To experience this separation, but in slow motion, you realized deep inside of this cosmic story were layers upon layers of guilt and shame for what you had done with being a creator, receiving the gift of creation. These conflicted feelings would not allow this new experience to become tangible, physical. So you did what had to be done. You consciously forgave yourself of anything you have ever participated in that you're not proud of. It's hard to acknowledge such a thing, especially here on Earth where everything moves in slow motion. But what you discovered helped to release the resistance between the human and the soul. You also discovered this experience is not for the faint of heart. It requires that you trust in yourself unlike anything you have ever felt before. To help support such a bold choice, you agreed to act as supports to each other no matter where you find yourself. It's all honored. And if you are now feeling the light of the soul's presence, well then, my friend, all of you, you're now free. Breathe it consciously throughout your whole day. Don't let this go. You be letting go of your freedom. Such an honor to be of service to each and every one of you. All my blessings.